welcome back to I think this is episode 4 of
1, 2, 3, 4
AI Ray
featuring Bob.
And we've got some.
I should put B with a 0 instead of or a backwards 3. That's a cool logo. Backwards 3, 0, backwards 3.
Yeah. And see who puts that together. Yeah. They're like 303. What's that mean?
I think it's Colorado.
So, yeah. So today we've got some, since it's conference season, lots of conferences going on right now. We know we know firsthand ourselves, as well as a lot of other folks that are presenting on different topics. They're all working hard at putting together their slides.
And one of the faux pas, make sure you do a wardrobe check with those people if you're on a panel or doing joint presentations. And Ray and I made the mistake of walking here today wearing the exact same thing.
That is correct. But I don't regret it. I think we look pretty good. And this is still one of the comfiest things I own. So no regrets here. But yes, so talking about presentations and
for lawyers, you're talking about opening arguments rather than statements and closing arguments.
And of course, the different tools that can help basically generate some of these presentations a little bit faster than you otherwise would do if you were like in the Google Slides or something like that yourself. So really trying to help those busy folks that are speaking in these upcoming conferences. So kind of diving right in, you might have heard of some tools like that help generate presentations. There's SlidesAI is a big one. I think
I've used SlidesAI. Yeah, SlidesAI. Yep.
There's SlidesAI. There's PlusAI. They're kind of the same. There's Canva. There's Canva that's out there, the Australian-based.
Yeah, a lot of lawyers do a lot of social media, quote unquote, influencing, use Canva and love it. My sister's on that all the time. So I've not used it yet. So I'm just interested to see what
so my team uses Canva for all of their like kind of marketing collateral and everything, but it can also generate really nice presentations. So everything that we're even talking about today, it actually has the capabilities of basically you load up your brand, the theme or anything like that, anything that you want it to know about your brand. And it has like ChatGPT kind of components or capabilities where you can be like, all right, now generate a whole presentation on best practices for your opening statement or something. And it will just bring things from like online that it can find. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, online is nice. You can teach it, but I wonder, can I feed it like real examples, give it a bunch of my opening statements from trial and ask the same question?
Yeah, so that's actually what you could probably, I'm not sure about Canva, but I do know that with some of these other tools like SlideAI, PlusAI, you can feed it your content and then be like, make slides out of this.
Yeah, I've used SlidesAI for presentations, for keynotes, and I've put in, I've not used other closing arguments and things to put it in, like, I just want to know, like, because we haven't tried it yet, but I think we'll try to do it after this, is I want to actually put in those closing argument transcripts that I have, a bunch of them, and ask it to see if it can replicate it alongside with, like, I usually just literally put out like on Outlook, open up an email to the person who's our trial director, who does our media, and I'll just like outline the entire closing. Right. So here's an example we've done before. Here's the outline of the closing. Here's the jury instructions I want. And here's a link to all the exhibits that we've used and create this. And I know it takes a very long time and it's expensive and labor intensive for that person to put together that closing. There's a common question I get. And I wonder if one of these tools can solve that. I
don't know. Let's try it out. No, we don't have the time to actually try it out here in real time, but I mean, we will. Yeah, we can explore it. But yeah, another tool that I wanted to mention out there that we'll talk through a little bit today too is for the purposes of creating nice presentations. There's an app called Tome, Tome, and so this is slightly different from the other tools that kind of operate within like a Google Slides setting or Canva in their own setting. This one creates really beautiful presentations in kind of like this web-based form.
And what's the difference between presentation and regular form and like PowerPoint or Google Slides and web-based?
So this like web-based is like, think of it as it gives you this link, kind of like a web page that it created for you. And all of your slides, you can make them interactive. Like you can click on things, move things around during your presentation. You can embed like a website within your presentation. So you can go click through on, like if you're presenting like an AI tool, it's like, hey, well, let's go to their website and see what their pricing looks like, stuff like that. So it is very interactive. And I actually used this for a presentation a while back. I went to present in Billings, Montana, of all places. First time there.
I've been to Billings.
Yeah, actually. And so it was a very beautiful place, to be honest. I came home with a little buffalo. But that said, did a presentation there, and I cooked up this presentation using Tome, literally like an hour and a half after dinner that night to present in the morning. Wow. And when I got up on stage, and I was like, the first thing that I said, I was presenting on AI, I was like, this entire presentation was generated using AI. And people were like, what? And it was a beautiful presentation. But yeah, they've really nailed it in terms of getting just a beautiful aesthetic, if that's something that you care about, right?
Well, it is, especially for trial lawyers. If you want to do engagement with, like we always teach people when they're doing presentations to jurors, they have attention span. They don't want to see a bunch of black and white words that are up there. It's not engaging. You have to be dynamic. It has to be attention grabbing. It has to be a new graphic. It has to be something that elicits emotion. So yeah, I think it's very big for lawyers out there to use a tool like that.
Yeah. So let's talk about maybe some of the use cases. I'll talk about Tome first then. Okay. Tome, really cool in terms of what I've done in the past. You can basically, like I said, first off, just to get the slides, kind of the structure, the kind of wireframe you want to work with, you can give it a little bit of a direction in terms of what is the topic. So, for me, I was creating like a presentation in terms of AI and how to use AI to work smarter and not harder. And kind of partly the inspiration for even this show that we're even doing right now. But that said, talking about different AI tools that could help law firms, and then gave it some direction in terms of categories of different tools that we would like to present, like applications to different areas of the firm. And it generated the wireframe. And as you go from page to page, you can iterate upon those individual pages. So you can ask it to kind of spruce things up or generate some content for each page as you go. Photos, it allowed me to embed photos, but when I didn't like any photos, I would just click it and I would say regenerate, like come up with a new idea. And you can prompt it. You could say like, find me you don't actually have to write find me a photo, but you could be like, type
something more specific to X, Y, Z, and it
correct
finds it for you.
It
was my frustration a little bit with SlidesAI. It was harder for me to get them to change what they created.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Individually. So that's cool.
That's right. So if the topic or the page that we were on was something related to marketing and AI, I would prompt it with like marketing AI, come up with an image, something related to this, and that's where it comes up with like, oh, like here's like a cool like funnel, like marketing funnel, and it had like different AI kind of features kind of
I love that.
Sprinkled throughout, but it was cool. I was able to even make this presentation interactive. So I did throw in many videos on the AI tools that we were talking about, kind of screenshots, all of that, as you would imagine that you can do in a regular presentation, but also threw in the websites of these companies themselves. And then I was able to kind of walk people through the actual website.
Yeah. So if you're talking about like many, dynamic type of products that they use, go to their website in the presentation mode, since it's web-based, I'm watching Ray do it live. It's really cool to see him scroll through the website, the actual website of that product that he's talking about. So I do like this web-based presentation.
It is really beautiful. Like everything you're seeing here, like I did not touch this up. Like, it just came out like this. And so it woke up like this. But yeah.
I woke up camera ready.
That's right.
For radio.
That's right. So that's a little bit on Tome. Maybe tell us a little bit about your experiences using SlidesAI.
Yeah, so I've used it just for presentations, not for closing arguments or opening statements. And I did one just to fact check. I said, the one that took us a while when I did my first AI talk, and I said, hey, I'm doing a talk on AI. These are the things I want to cover. And I did the bullet point I usually do when I have somebody else create our slides. And it came back with a really good one, like 80% of the way there that I wanted. But I wasn't able to like quickly change each graphic there. Like when you're talking about how the Tome used, that was my little bit of frustration with it, but it was good. I mean, it was good enough to get it ready for me in like 20 minutes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like the graphics that it generates, like it's like embedded in like the background or something, right? And then
because it's a slide, it's like a PowerPoint slide.
Correct. I hated that.
Yes.
So that's what frustrated me. I was just like, I don't want it like this. It was like giving me like a flywheel or something. And I was like, this isn't even a flywheel type of slide. And so I do remember being frustrated with that one. But I do think with each of those, you can also kind of open up the sidebar with SlidesAI and stuff, and then you can reprompt it to kind of regenerate that. I will admit Tome was more easy to use to that respect, but like at the same time, the output is vastly different. So if you do need like a kind of Google Slides, or if you need like a a PowerPoint presentation at the end of the day, that's not going to be Tome. Like you can't use
Tome. You have to be sitting here interacting with your computer, scrolling through the web page and stuff. As if you're on stage. Well, I guess if you have your computer up there, you can do it and you can walk through it. But otherwise, if you have a clicker in your hand, it's a lot different. You got to use the slides mode.
Correct. So like check in with your local AV people or the AV people at the conference to see if this is even a format.
But I do think that Tome could be used when you're doing webinars.
Right.
Because then you could present and be on this mode. This is really cool. I'm going to look at it very because I do a lot of web-based presentations. So
it's very easy to share as well, like the presentation. It's very sleek. So I like that. But yeah, SlidesAI, that was a good point that you brought up, the graphics thing. I didn't like that. But in terms of putting in that prompt and generating slides or the presentation out of it, that was pretty easy. I know on the free version, it gives you some sort of like character limit or something like that. It's like you can only put 300 characters or something like that to create, your wireframe there. But that said, if you pay for, I think they have like a monthly subscription thing there. If you pay more, then that unlocks that character limit. And then you could just like literally copy and paste like your whole, whatever notes that you have in terms of your presentation.
So have you used the second Tome presentations, for instance, and it kind of remembers how you like to have stuff, so it's easier for you the second time when you do the presentation? I'm always wondering if it learns.
Oh no, I haven't. No, actually, I haven't done that.
What I always end up doing is when you give a talk on the same subject, I like to make it different for that audience or update it. Then what I always end up doing is I go back into my PowerPoint and I change some slides. Now I use AI to generate some new stuff and then throw it in there, just edit. But then you end up going into like my presentations folder on my SharePoint, and there's like 100 of them because I have to redo another one a little bit and then save it. Yeah. And then put it on a flash disk and whatever.
Yeah, you must have a lot of those then because you present a ton.
It's really funny. Like people always ask me, like lawyers in my office, I get asked to speak somewhere. Like, hey Bob, do you have a talk? Did you do a talk on this? Like, yeah, I sure did. Here you go. Yeah. It's like the whole bank of those. So
I can only imagine what your naming convention for each one of these are, or if you actually name it after the conference you went to.
I do.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because I remember where I gave that talk. I'll put the topic and then where I gave it and the date. So I remember how relevant it was, because it always doesn't matter when it was saved. You can look on the right to see when that was saved, but sometimes I was overwriting something, so it wasn't something I gave in 2023. It could have been like 2017 and not relevant anymore.
Yep, naming convention is important. Yeah, otherwise, it would just say presentation 1, presentation 2. You're screwed.
I started out that way. It didn't end so well. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think Plus AI is very similar. Canva, we talked a little bit about this as well, and I think Canva kind of sits in the same boat as Tome. So your final output of your kind of presentation, you could probably export this into some PowerPoint kind of format. Well, sorry, you can export it as like PDF, but then I do believe actually you can export it into a PowerPoint format. So maybe not like Tome. Tome is different. Cool. Different beast there. But I know that Canva is very, very cool in terms of just being able to load your theme like whatever your company branding is and everything like that. Give it some prompts in terms of what is it that you want to create, similar to SlidesAI. Like the difference is Canva creates all of these tools within the Canva workspace, right? Whereas SlidesAI is a plugin for Google Slides. So if you're familiar with Google Slides and you don't want to learn a different kind of interface and stuff like that, then use SlidesAI.
Easy.
But I do believe that Canva, and if you're willing to pay for it too, or kind of trial it out as you test it out on your first kind of presentations, really easy to use, has a lot of different templates and stuff that you can actually pull from. So different themes, templates, all that stuff for all kinds of presentations, all kinds of documents or collateral that you're looking to create. So Canva is a super powerful tool for just equipping your marketing team with.
Yes, we've talked Tome, we've talked Canva, we've talked SlidesAI, and what was the last one?
Plus AI.
Plus AI for your presentations. And I think, running on time for this episode, but we're going to try to put one of these to use for those lawyers that have a pain point of doing opening and closing PowerPoints. So by the time this airs, I'm going to play around with it a lot with Ray, and we'll see if we can do that kind of, what do they call that? When you slide through on Instagram, you have the main post, something wheel. I forget what it's called.
Carousel. Like a carousel.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do the second one to see with a link what it created with, taking our closing transcript and putting it into life with an AI closing. So
Yeah.
test them out.
That would be pretty cool. But stay tuned for that. And thank you for joining us on this episode of AI for Presentations. And if any of this helps y'all, let us know. If you're looking for help with anything else, let us know.
Yep. And hopefully from, I think, episode 3, we can have that one avatar. Maybe we can have the avatar actually do the presentation for us after a while.
I'm still trying to create the Minotaur. If anyone remembers that, the Minotaur Bob.
The Minotaur
I'm gonna make
Bob.
that as an avatar.
Not miniature Bob. That's what my dad used to call me. He was Big Bob. I was miniature Bob.
All right, Minotaur.
Minotaur, Dad. Damn it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, Bob, where can they find us?
Oh, justicesteamnetwork.com. You can go to Planet Fun Bob on IG is the best place to find me. Or you could go to at Ray. What is your Instagram? It's like
it's literally my last name. But you can find us at Even Up Law on Instagram, or mine it's somewhere linked there. But at Mieszaniec, it's MIESZANIEC.
Just Google Ray and Even Up, and you'll find them.
Correct.
Everywhere. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.